From the very beginning, All Elite Wrestling has embraced the idea that factions are a cornerstone of its identity. Over time, AEW has introduced numerous successful groups, such as the Elite, the Inner Circle, and the Blackpool Combat Club, which have played a crucial role in driving the company forward. When the right individuals are involved, forming a faction can be one of the most effective ways to elevate talent. However, for every faction that has thrived, there's been another that flopped right out of the gate. Whether due to mismatched talent, overly complicated storylines, or a failure to gel as a unit, AEW has seen just as many factions falter as it has seen succeed.
Professional wrestling is my life!
The Factory? The idea of an underappreciated player coach mentoring a group of students to earn the respect they crave is a solid foundation. Sadly, The Factory demonstrated that even good concepts can fall flat without strong talent to bring them to life. Despite QT Marshall being regarded as a backstage asset in AEW, fans never truly connected with him. When The Factory was established under his leadership, the concept failed to gain traction. Adding to the challenge was the inexperience of wrestlers like Anthony Ogogo, which set the group up for failure from the very beginning. The Trustbusters. Grouping lower card wrestlers into a faction can often lead to great outcomes, giving talent the chance to find their footing. However, it requires effort to make fans care about the group, and that becomes a challenge when the audience isn't interested in the members. The fact that as of 2024, only one member of the brief-lived Trustbusters remains on the AEW roster speaks volumes about both the group's impact and the lack of fan investment in its members. Fortunately, the faction's failure was short-lived, and it was quickly disbanded. Nightmare Collective. AEW fans may not always be quick to acknowledge the company's missteps, but it's hard to argue that the Brandy Rhodes-led Nightmare Collective wasn't one of the oddest decisions in AEW's early history. While Cody was being presented as a top babyface, his wife inexplicably shifted into a dark, villainous role, leaving fans puzzled. While it's commendable that AEW strives to feature as much of its roster as possible on television, forming a nonsensical faction wasn't the solution. Fortunately, the Nightmare Collective's run was brief, but it remains a frequent reminder of AEW's notable misfires. The Firm. Given the sheer amount of factions that AEW has produced in a short time, it can be difficult to keep track of them, even if they debut in a big way. The Firm made a big impact when they debuted at All Out 2022 by interfering in the Casino ladder match by securing the win for MJF. However, that is all the group was able to accomplish, as they disbanded less than a month later after turning on MJF. Had the group stayed together, they may have been successful given the talent involved, but instead, they are remembered for being one of the short-lived factions in company history. American Top Team. Bringing in outsiders like Logan Paul, Stephen Amell, or Bad Bunny can sometimes deliver fantastic and unexpected moments that captivate the wrestling world. However, these successes are rare, and involving athletes from other sports often ends up being more trouble than it's worth. The idea of featuring the highly accomplished MMA stable American Top Team might have seemed promising, but it faltered due to the inclusion of too many inexperienced performers on television. While Dan Lambert excelled as a heat magnet, and both Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky are talented wrestlers, their efforts couldn't salvage the partnership once the real MMA fighters became part of the mix. The Lethal Connection. It's safe to say that no wrestling fan could have predicted Jeff Jarrett competing for the AEW World Trios Championship in 2023. Yet somehow, it became a reality. The oddly assembled faction, led by Sonjay Dutt, left fans more confused than excited, but has managed to remain a fixture on AEW programming since its inception. With a mix of wrestlers past their prime, underutilized talent, and inexperienced performers, the Lethal Connection presents too many issues for fans to invest in. Adding to the problem is Jarrett's overwhelming go-away heat with the audience, leaving little of value to come from this peculiar partnership. The Outcasts. The storyline of wrestlers from a rival company invading another has been overused to the point of exhaustion, and is no longer an appealing angle for most fans. Despite the undeniable talent of Saraya, Ruby Soho, and Toni Storm, this tired gimmick doomed their efforts from the start. In the end, the Outcasts were set up to fail, despite the hard work all three wrestlers poured into the concept. Thankfully, Toni Storm has emerged from the group's collapse with the most compelling persona of her career, which might help fans forget this lackluster chapter. That's all for now. Thanks for watching, and let me know your picks for the worst factions in AEW history. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more wrestling content. See you in the next one!